Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaskar friends, my name is Dr. Parikshit Sirohi. I am Senior Assistant Professor in Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, and this is the first lecture as part of the course of Cyber Crime. Now friends, as part of this course module, these are certain topics that we are going to be covering. First of all, what is cyberspace? What is this word cyberspace? We are going to be having a look at that. Cyber crime, various facets of various kinds of crimes which are committed using the internet. We are going to understand the importance of a password in modern day banking systems. We are going to be looking at various kinds of scams involving phishing and the types of phishing, one important type being spear phishing. So, you may have heard of people casting a net to catch fish. So, similarly, people cast these nets to get data of others. So, that is why phishing, and that is why the spelling instead of FICH it is spelled as FPHISH. So, we are going to be discussing about this. We are going to be talking about spoofing and wishing, which is again another kind of subtype of spoofing. We are going to be discussing about skimming and smishing. So, skimming owes its origin to getting, just like you get cream out of milk. So, similarly people get data out of others, steal data out of others. We all carry cell phones, friends. So, the cell phone has an important component called subscriber identification module. You call it SIM card. So, how does a SIM card get cloned? How does a SIM card get swapped? Calls that are coming to you may be getting diverted to another person in the case of SIM swap. In the case of cloning, calls and data which is coming to you, SMS data which is coming to you may also be simultaneously going to somebody else. Then friends, we all use automated teller machines, ATMs. So, what kind of frauds take place in those? They are also within the domain of this cyberspace. Then how does data get stolen in organizations, in banks, in the case of financial institutions, in the case of individuals? Friends, these banking transactions, these banking frauds take place across geographical boundaries because the internet does not know any boundaries. What can the countries of the world do in such cases? Whenever we seldom use checkbooks nowadays, but if we use checkbooks, the way the money is realized by one bank from the other is now drastically different from what used to be the case 10 years ago. The physical check is no longer presented, it is a scanned image of the check which is presented, and that is why there is a new species of fraud called truncation frauds. We will look at that. Then the whole identity of a person, Ram Singh may acquire the identity of Subhash Singh. So, we will look at those cases. And friends, finally, what kinds of frauds take place, how can we stop it, how can we make it more difficult for the fraudster? That is the whole purpose of this exercise, friends. So, one by one, let us start from the very basic. What is cyberspace? So, cyberspace comes from the word cyber. Now, it was first used more than 40 years ago by a Canadian American author called William Gibson. And he has published an article in the Omni magazine, and later on he has written a book called Neuromancer. This term became very popular thereafter in the course of the 1990s, and with the usage of internet increasing, the digital footprint increasing, the digital communication increasing, the networking increasing. Friends, many of you may be aware that the internet was actually developed way back in the 50s and 60s by the American military for their own military communication purposes. At that time, nobody had conceived that the internet would be used for banking, the internet would be used for e-commerce, the internet would be used for buying medicines, and the internet would be used for making contracts. So, the usage of internet has grown manifold. In fact, I am speaking to you, this lecture is coming to you through the internet, you are accessing it through the internet. So, networking, digital communications has grown manifold, and these transactions are taking place in an abstract sphere, and that sphere is called cyberspace, space which is in cyber. Friends, this cyberspace is able to represent new ideas, new phenomena, and these have emerged as a result of intermingling of interconnected computers, interconnected digital environment, which is facilitated by the growth of the internet. Now, with the growth of the internet comes new problems, problems of jurisdiction. Now, look at a very simple situation which takes place almost every day. Let us say an Indian national has written something on the internet about a citizen from Sweden, a person whose nationality is Sweden, and posted it on a web page of a French company, and this web page is hosted by an American ISP, and this server farm may be located in Norway. Now, which country's laws, friends, are going to be applied? The laws of France, the laws of US, the laws of India, the laws of Norway, the laws of the country where the person who has been defamed, whose laws are you going to apply? So, this is the problem in the cyber domain. So, some of those problems we are going to be attempting to solve through this course. Friends, as a social experience, individuals can use internet to interact, to exchange the ideas, to share the information, to provide social support, to carry out business. Various actions can be conducted on the internet, on the cyberspace. So, you can say that cyberspace is this diverse environment where so many different things are taking place at the same point of time, interactions are taking place between individuals. And the persons who are using the cyberspace, the term that is used for them is, sometimes they are called cybernauts. Just like you have astronauts, they are also called cybernauts. Friends, now that we have some kind of an understanding of cyberspace, let us try to look at what is cybercrime. So, the most obvious definition, the simplest definition which I could think of when I was preparing for this lecture is that cyber crimes are crimes which are committed in cyberspace, as simple as that. Now, different scholars, different authors have used different kinds of mechanisms to give their own versions of definitions, but there are a variety of crimes, myriad crimes committed on the internet. In fact, it can be said that the methods of committing the crime may have changed, but the crimes are actually the same. So, it is actually new crimes in the old bottle or old crimes in the new bottle. Different scholars have different views. So, some people argue that it is a new crime, new form of committing the crime. So, that is why they call it new crime in an old bottle, whereas others disagree. No, it is the old crime, but since the mechanism has changed, it should be called old crime in a new bottle. Now, friends, when committing any crime, there are two things which are important. One is the action and one is the motive, mens rea. So, in law we call it actus reus and mens reus. So, these are both Latin terms, action and what is the intention, what is the motive. Now, this motive is the problem. In the case of cyber offences, it sometimes becomes difficult in proving the motive, friends, and that is what we will study in subsequent chapters. But for now, let us understand that cyber crime is a kind of fraud. It is the crime of obtaining some kind of money, some kind of other illegal activities through deceit. Now, deceit is important. Deceit means you are cheating someone, and therefore, the cyber crimes, like all crimes, will be illegal, they will be unethical, they will be immoral, they will be dishonest. Cyber crimes, friends, can be committed by individuals, they can be committed by organizations. So, let me give you certain examples of cyber crimes. You have cyber stalking. Just like you have stalking in the real world, you also have cyber stalking. So, somebody may be stalking a child or a woman or a man through the internet. So, that is cyber stalking. You may have cyber terrorism. You may have these kinds of offenses. So, many a times terrorists are using the internet for their own purposes, communication with each other, because communications with the internet may be difficult to trace in certain cases. So, they could be using the internet for financial frauds. They could be using the internet to obtain money and assets and other kinds of property which is owned by the individuals, which is owned by the banks, which is owned by the financial institutions. Friends, in this particular module, the first lecture of mine, I have primarily concentrated on financial frauds only, but in subsequent chapters, we will talk about other kinds of fraud also, other kinds of cyber offenses also. So, people may come and pose as banks and trying to steal your information. Now, banks are a very important form of, very important part of our modern day economy, and they deal with the money of the public. It is not like olden days wherein people were keeping their money in their tijoris, in their lockers, in their below their bed. Those kinds of things are not there. Today, the public keeps their money with banks, financial institutions, stock market. So, the primary responsibility to ensure that fraud does not happen lies with these banks and financial institutions themselves, and therefore RBI keeps, that is the Reserve Bank, keeps advising the banks, the financial institutions, even individuals. You may be seeing Amitabh Bachchan on television because he is a very popular person, coming and advising on what are the safe banking tips. So, the purpose is to prevent the frauds from taking place, to ensure that the public money is not looted by these cyber criminals. Friends, now the cyber crime can have a very deleterious impact, very serious kind of an impact on the entire banking system, because banks are the backbone of the entire system. So, just like the human being has a backbone, if you destroy the banks, if you destroy the financial institutions, you can have serious ramifications on the financial health of the entire country. So, therefore, cyber crime, which is economic in nature, see, it is a white collar offense. So, white collar offense, it is relatively more difficult to trace, it is more difficult to crack the cases. So, and it involves the use of technology. So, it is very important for law enforcement to be up to date with the crime prevention and detection measures. In this context, friends, I would like to mention that our Honorable Prime Minister, just last month, when he was addressing the conference of Directors General and Inspectors General of Police, he made it in Jaipur, he made it a point, and I would like to just quote from his speech. He says that the police should now start policing with data and not danda. So, data is very important to prevent these kinds of offenses, and surveillance, data, cameras, technology, that is important, and not the conventional use of force or danda. So, because cyber crime will erode the public confidence, will diminish the profitability of the banking sector, people will lose their jobs, the financial viability of the bank itself would come into question. So many banks the world over have collapsed because of cyber crime. It damages the economy, it may the public's confidence of putting their money in the bank, in the financial institution may erode, and therefore the public will go back to what it was doing previously, that is storing money outside of the banking system, which will generate black money, which creates even more problems. Friends, since everything is today linked even outside the country's borders, if the banking frauds on the internet are more in number, it may even damage the cross-border reputation of the country. It may damage it may have a damaging effect on the economic sovereignty of the country. Now, today more than political sovereignty, actually economic sovereignty becomes important, friends. So that is why cybercrime and its prevention of economic fraud becomes even more important. Friends, today what is the status of a password? Now, if I were to ask you, friends, how many times have you signed on a checkbook? How many times have you physically gone to a bank? The answer will be you probably never done that. I have not signed a checkbook for maybe 10 years, maybe more than that. So we are all using digital banking, we are all using Paytm, we are all using phone banking, we are all using app based banking. So these things are very convenient, but they also require a change in mindset. Friends, the password today has the same status as a key. Do you leave your keys around? Do you leave the key to your locker, your key to your car, your key to your house, you keep it lying around? You don't do it. So similarly, you never write down your password and leave it around. You have a tough password. Some people have this habit that inside their phone cover, the mobile phone cover, they will put their credit card, and then at the behind they will write the password of the credit card or password of the debit card. Friends, this is like putting the gunpowder and explosive together. It can go off and cause an explosion at any point of time. You never store matchsticks where you store gunpowder. So please never store your card where you store your password. Never write down your password first of all. If you do need to write it down as an aid to memory, please write it down, put it in a drawer, and the drawer should be locked, and you should keep the key with you at all times. Friends, if you have ever visited a bank locker, maybe some of you would have, especially the ladies, you would have visited bank lockers. People go and put their jewelry, valuables inside a bank locker. How does that work, friends? You have one key and the bank has another key. So you go and put your key, the bank manager, bank staff comes and puts their key, and then the bank manager goes away, and then you turn the key, and that is how you are able to open the locker. So friends, what I am saying is 2 sets of keys are necessary for opening that particular lock. Otherwise that lock will not open. The same system, the modern day banking system works. There are 2 keys, one is the public key and one is the private key. So the public key is available with the owner of the website, and the private key you have. So whenever you are typing in the private key, the public key is matching, and that is why it is opening. You have 2-factor authentication, which is mandated for banking transactions in India. So you have matched the public key with the private key. Now you will get an SMS, and that SMS OTP, one time password as it is called, you have to enter it. You will get the OTP by SMS or by email or whatever, and then you will enter it. Some banks even have another system called a token system, whereas that token will not come by SMS, it will come on the banking app of that particular bank. But the system is, the first is the matching of the public key and private key, and the second step, friends, is that the OTP which is received by various ways is going to be entered. For example, Union Bank of India has a facility called M token, and which they send via the app. So it may come via the app, it may come via the SMS, it may come via the email, it may come via any of these sources, and you will have to enter it. And then this 2-factor authentication. So this 2-factor authentication, if you are maintaining the sanctity of your email, your SMS, and you are not writing down your password anywhere, the 2-factor authentication is always going to work 99.99% of the time, friends. Always read your financial statements, credit card statements, banking statements very, very carefully to see if there is any transaction which you have not authorized, which you have not made. And because the moment you see it, you report it. The earlier you report it, the easier it is for the bank, the law enforcement, the credit card issuing company to trace that particular fraud, friends. Just like we have in the case of road accident, we take the victim to the hospital within 1 hour. That is called the golden hour. The chances of saving the person are very, very high, more than 70% of the time. Even if there is a serious injury, head injury, or there is some lung injury or some serious injury, even then the person can be saved if you take him to the hospital within 1 hour. Similarly, friends, if there is some cyber offense, then if you are able to report it within 1 hour, and mind you, all the banks, all their financial institutions, their fraud reporting is open 24/7. So if you want to speak to customer service officer regarding any other issue, you may be having, I have not got my statement, I want to change my address. Those facilities will be limited from 9 AM to 6 PM or 10 AM to 6 PM, something like that. But fraud reporting, friends, is available in every bank and financial institution 24/7. So please, as soon as you find out, don't wait till the morning. You immediately please report it to the bank, to the law enforcement. The police have set up special cells. There are special email addresses, special phone numbers wherein you can report these kind of cyber offences. Every state has their own cyber wing. Delhi police, for example, has their own cyber wing wherein you can report these. Like I mentioned before, friends, banks, government agencies will never call you asking for a password. Why will they ask you for the password? They already have the public key. Why will they want your private key? If they ask, then it is either some employee of the bank wanting to commit fraud, or somebody doing impersonation by pretending to be from the bank. Friends, every debit card, every credit card has a 3-digit or a 4-digit number which is called the CID, card identification number. Never give it to anyone. That is only your personal, because that is working as part of the two-factor authentication, friends. Friends, you may get, somebody may send you a link on WhatsApp, on SMS, on email, saying that please click on this link. Okay, first of all, avoid clicking on any link. Try to go to the website on your own. Do not click on any link. Secondly, if you do have to click on any link, then please ensure that the link is not HTTP, it is HTTPS. That S stands for secure. So, if that is secure, then that much more confidence you have. Friends, your mobile phone is a treasure trove of data, personal data. The mobile phone may cost 15, 20, 25, 30, 50,000 rupees, but the data that you have in it is much more costly. So, every time you are selling your mobile phone, please ensure that you have cleaned up all your data by doing factory reset, restore factory settings. That is an option available in every mobile phone. Do the same to every laptop of yours. Whenever you are selling it, to the e-waste recycler, do this. If ever your mobile phone is lost or stolen, immediately block your internet banking, immediately block your mobile banking, and then reactivate it later once you are confident that your passwords, etc., are safe. So, these are the importance of password in today's banking times. Again, to re-emphasize at the risk of repetition, friends, the key is the password. So, just like we don't leave our signature, our signed blank signature pages around, we don't leave our keys around, we should never leave our password around. And obviously, don't keep very easy passwords. Your date of birth, your mother's date of birth, your father's birthday. Your passwords, they will always say it should be a combination of uppercase, lowercase, special character numbers. Most websites will mandate this, and where it is not mandated, friends, there also you must mandate it. Uppercase, lowercase, special character, number. You must ensure that your password has at least these 4 things, and it should at least 8-10 characters long. So that way you can make the task of these thieves more difficult. Friends, we have phishing, we have spear phishing. Like I mentioned in my introductory slide, the phishing is an attempt to steal data, just as we are trying to catch the fish. How are we trying to catch fish? Some of you may have done fishing earlier. Fishing as in machli pakadna. So, how do you do it? You put bait, which is food, and the fish comes and bites the bait and gets caught. So, that is exactly how the cyber criminal wants to steal your important personal banking data, your personal details, and so that they can impersonate you. So, the simplest form of phishing, friends, is an email which comes to you from a known source and a popular banking institution or some of your friend, and they will ask for some information. They may say that, look, let's say you have a card from SBI, and they will say your email is from SBI and your card is expiring, so please give us your 4-digit number so that we can send you a new card. Friends, banks, government institutions, they never ask for this kind of information. Friends, tell me, I will tell you from my personal experience of 45 years, no government institution, no bank has ever called me. Only one exception. During Corona, the government called saying that, are you okay? Is your health okay? Other than that, never in my 45 years have I ever got a call from any government agency. So governments don't call people. People call call centers, etc., of the government for various purposes. So these thieves will call you, will send you emails saying that I am calling from income tax, I am calling from customs. Friends, customs, income tax, they don't call people. Then friends, again spear phishing takes place, which is more sophisticated than normal phishing. It is targeted. So we know that the fish likes biscuits. So we offer in the bait biscuits. We don't offer rice because this fish likes biscuits. So it is a targeted attempt, and this email will come from a trusted source. So it could be your own boss, it could be your friends, it could be my friend Ashish, it could be anybody who is there, it could be a relative of mine. And what they do is, using artificial intelligence, using other tools, they are constantly monitoring your email. So if I know that in the last 7 days Ashish has sent me 4 mails, they will send me an email from Ashish saying that, I am in London, my credit card is lost, I don't have any money, can you please send me 20,000 pounds. Now apply your mind, call up your friend Ashish. Does he actually need money? Chances are he has never been to London. So forget about him being in London right now. But these thieves are going to try and make you believe that Ashish is in London at that point of time. They will customize, they will personalize your email ID, so that you have faith. So that subject line will be customized. Mind you, whatever projects, whatever social engagements you are involved in at that point of time, they are aware because they are reading your email, and accordingly they are sending you this make-believe email, and that is why it is very easy to fall target to spear phishing, which is targeted. Friends, sometimes what happens is, even if they are not asking directly for information, the moment you open the email, it is stealing data. There are Trojan horses which are hidden and they steal data. So Trojan horse, the name comes from history, where Trojan horses were there, and inside the horses, along with the horses, the military men were there. So the malware gets downloaded on your system, and information is stolen automatically. So very, very sophisticated kinds of thieves now we are dealing with. But there is no need to be worried, friends. Information, if we have, if we know what we are dealing with, that makes prevention of crime that much more easier. Another variety is spoofing, and another variety of spoofing is wishing. So the technique is there, the cyber criminal is disguising himself. Cyber criminal may disguise himself as a government agency, as a trusted source, as a known source. It can take place through many ways. You can have a fraud domain name server, you can have a fraud IP address, you can be spoofing emails, you can be using a fraud GPS system, you could be having website spoofing, you could be having phone calls which are spoofed, fraud. You can have voice spoofing also, friends. So let me give you certain examples. Now 192.168.1.1, this is the internet protocol or IP address of MTNL in India. Now if somebody is using 192.168.1.1 and is using that IP address sitting in Norway or London, then that is a perfect example of IP spoofing. He has created a fraud IP. Many times we get a call from numbers which are in India, but the number through VoIP maybe is anywhere else in the world. That is another example. I will give you an example, friend, which happened with me recently, very, very recently. So, and I am very lucky that I managed to escape. This is an example of voice spoofing. So, there is this friend of mine who was my colleague when I was pursuing PhD. And I got a call from her saying that, look, I need money, whatever amount of money, sir, that you can put. She called me sir because she was 4 or 5 years younger in age. And she says, sir, whatever money you can put in my account, I will be very grateful. These are the account details I will share with you by WhatsApp. And actually my brother-in-law is very, very sick. So whatever money is needed, we can't afford on our own sources, me and my husband. So I'm like, I checked with all my other classmates, all of them had received similar calls. There was something amiss about it. The voice was exactly hers, the accent was exactly hers, but there was something amiss. whenever I was calling back, she was not picking up. And so I found it amiss, because this lady, I knew she was the kind who would die but will not ask anybody for any money. Some people are like that, no? They are very, very their self esteem does not allow them to even contemplate borrowing money. This lady is amongst those. So I checked with all my other PhD classmates, 5 of them. One of them is not in the country, but the other 4 of them, all of them had confirmed that they had got similar calls more than once. And so I asked one of my classmates, I said, look, if she genuinely needs money, we will obviously give. You do one thing, please, since you live close to her house, you ask her for a physical meeting. In some cafe or some place, you ask her for a physical meeting, and if in that physical meeting you are convinced that she is actually in need of money, we will give. I will give at least. You will not believe, friends, every time he asked for a physical meeting, she refused. And later on, we came to know that she was a victim of voice spoofing. So somebody had gotten control of her cell phone and had got enough voice data, so was modulating the voice, was modulating the accent exactly like hers. Imagine how much of fraud would have actually been committed. So anyway, she brought it to the notice of law enforcement, and 4.5 lakh rupees were recovered from that account, which was opened by fraud, by ID theft of hers. It was opened in her name, but by identity theft. Friends, by these techniques, the adversary, the cyber criminal, is able to engage with the target, with the victim, and is able to access their, like in this lady's case, her mobile phone or her computer had been accessed, and the ultimate goal had been achieved. And what is the ultimate goal? Stealing information, extorting money, installing malware. Lot of cases of extortion are coming to light nowadays, wherein people are asking you to download some pornography, and the moment you download that pornography, you start getting extortion calls. So this is again a form of extortion. We will talk about it in the subsequent lectures, but I thought that since we are dealing with this aspect, this is also a form of spoofing and wishing. It could be very, very simple to more complex. It is cyber criminals using the social engineering tactics to convince the victims, to play upon the victims psychologically, to part with the private information, access to bank accounts, which the victim otherwise would never have done. And mind you, if I had given money to this person who was pretending to be somebody else, not only would my money have been gone, friends, let's say I gave 10,000 rupees, not only is that 10,000 gone, the remaining money in that particular bank account would also be at risk, because that person now has access to that particular bank account. So like I mentioned previously, the person could be pretending to be calling you or getting the information from some government agency, some municipal corporation, from some tax department, from police. Like I said, none of these people ever call. None of these people ever send an email asking you to, they send proper emails. Income tax department, when they want you to send you a notice, they will do that. When traffic police wants to send you a challan for red light jumping, they will do that. But otherwise, they don't send you innocuous emails. Friends, this is again a form of stealing the data by cyber criminals, skimming. So we are getting the malai or cream out of milk by doing skimming. So similarly, whenever we are making the transactions at an ATM or a point of sale, the terminal is often tampered with. The machine that you are swiping your card may often be tampered with, and that is how they are stealing your data. They are putting a small card reader, a small camera, and stealing your data. Friends, never part with your card. In metro cities, etc., the machines, the ATM machines are such that the card does not go into the machine. You just swipe your card. The machine does not swallow the card. Whereas in smaller cities, in villages, they still have the older systems wherein the machine swallows the card. If possible, please try to avoid the ATMs where the card is being swallowed, because you don't know what is happening inside. Somebody may have fitted a camera inside where the card is being swallowed. Somebody may have put a skimmer inside. Please, as far as possible, try to go to only those ATMs where the card is not being swallowed by the machine. Number one. Number two, avoid using ATMs in desolate areas. The areas wherein not much public is there, areas where there is no guard in the ATM. Avoid using them. Whenever you use the ATM, always ensure that the CCTV camera is working. You ensure that you are seen in that CCTV camera. So that is very important, so that ensure that you don't, okay, this is important friends, ensure that you never, even to your family members, you don't give them your ATM card, because in such case what will happen, let's say I have given my wife or my father my ATM card and my ATM pin. Now they are using the card, and every time the bank is capturing that they are using my card. They know my card number 123 is being used by Mr. X, who is my father. Now if nothing goes wrong, very nice, no problem. But if something goes wrong on my card, some cyber criminal gets hold of it, they will say, look, this fellow himself has given the access to somebody else. See, we have the camera footage. His father has been using his card. His wife has been using his card. So as far as possible, never give, because if there is a, God forbid, a problem tomorrow, the bank is not going to come to your help. If you have given access to somebody else, to your ATM card, to your debit card, friends. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to fill petrol or diesel into your car or scooter, please ensure that the card is swiped in your presence. Lot of restaurants, lots of stores now have the card machines which are cordless, which don't have a wire. So they are brought to your table. Ensure that you are swiping your card in your presence. Do not give your card to somebody else to swipe it, and ensure that it is being swiped in your presence. Ensure that you are seeing very carefully that there is no skimmer or data there. See that the ATM, when you are pressing your PIN number, the keys are not higher than usual. If they are higher than usual, that means somebody has put a keylogger inside. Keylogger means they are capturing what you have pressed. Let us say my ATM pin is 1234. So 1234 somebody has captured. How? They have kept a keylogger inside. So a keylogger is going to make the key little higher than normal. So we must ensure that. Ensure that there is no chewing gum anywhere near the ATM, because chewing gum or the sellotape or some sticky thing means that there was a device at some point of time. So that makes it very scary. Avoid using such an ATM. The devices are installed. The devices may be there. They may be recording your transactions. They may be recording your pins, and somebody else may get access to it. So this is something which we ourselves have to be vigilant around. These are the offenses which the cyber criminals resort to when it comes to skimming. Friends, now when it comes to smishing, you are getting a text message, an SMS message. Nowadays even WhatsApp messages may be coming, and somebody may post, may pretend to be your colleague, maybe tech support, maybe bank, maybe some trusted stores, and they are wanting you to feed the information. The moment you put it, the cyber criminal will try to steal it. Now cyber criminals, friends, often not only steal it for their own use, they also sell it to others. And if you go on to something called dark net or deep web, most of us don't have that technology or expertise. There are encryption software available, but on the deep web you will find lots and lots of personal information being available, being sold there. So they sell it to other criminals. They use it themselves and then sell it to other criminals who may use it for even more nefarious purposes, friends. So for example, your bank account may be used by somebody to deposit the proceeds of corruption, or money which is tainted by purchase of guns, and so on and so forth. So anytime you notice something suspicious in your bank account, debit or credit, immediately bring it to the notice. Some people may feel very happy, look, I have got a credit in my bank account. Boss, if the credit is unexplained, you are in for trouble. Friends, then the next area that we are going to talk about is swapping of the SIM card and swapping of the and cloning of the SIM card. You may have a situation wherein the subscriber identification module, the SIM card which is used to make calls, used to get the data, itself is being swapped. So if I am making a call to you, the call will get connected to somebody else. See, once or twice it may happen because of some failure in the telecom network, but if it is happening regularly to you, please bring it to the notice of the service provider. There may be cases of SIM cloning. Now, SIM cloning you may not be able to detect all that easily, but you may. If you find that you are getting SMS messages and at the same time there is some delay in SMS messages, undue delay in SMS messages, maybe that is a red flag. Similarly, if you are speaking to someone and at the same time you find that there is you get the intuition, you get the some faint noise at the background, you get and it is happening in every call that somebody else may also be, apart from the two of you on the call, it may happen on the third person also. And when you are doing through the WhatsApp call, that third person is not there, that sound of the third person is not there, then it is clear that your SIM card has been cloned. It is a red flag again. So, in such cases you must immediately report it to your service provider, Airtel, MTNL, BSNL, whatever it is. So, your SIM card has been compromised, and both of these are dangerous. I would say SIM cloning is more dangerous because it is more difficult for the user to find out that SIM cloning is taking place. Friends, why is this important? Because if the SIM cloning or SIM swapping is taking place, all your OTPs which are meant only for you are now going to go to the thief, and that is how he is going to be able to commit the offences. So, like previously I told you that if you keep your credit card secure, your 4-digit number, your debit card 4-digit SID number, and you keep your OTP secure, there is no way somebody is going to be able to commit offence, even though he may have one of the two things. That is why two-factor. You may have one of the things, but still you don't need. You need this plus this. So, friends, but in this case he has got both. Now, this is something that the offence can take place. Friends, if you have not gone and opted for, in most cases it is mandatory, but in certain cases the person may not have opted for two-factor authentication, then the two-factor authentication is not there. It makes the task of the thief that much more easy, and this thief is there to gain currency to your personal information, credit card information, banking information. He may also be interested in humiliating or embarrassing the persons. So, I have come across one such case wherein a person gained access to another person's email ID, and from that email ID, all the persons in the addresses field, he sent an email to all the ladies, colleagues and relatives of that person, and which is all nonsense, to show this person in poor light, the victim whose email had been hacked in poor light. So, the SIM cloning may lead to very serious effects, because now we are also accessing our email on our phones. The person may also commit remote hacking. Friends, the continuation, the ATM frauds, the ATM card may get stuck. So, we must always be extra careful. We must not go to the ATM machines where there is no guard, where it is a quiet area, where there is some machine is swallowing the card, where the older kind of machines, where the keyboard is thicker than usual, where there is any kind of tape or glue. So, these are the ATM frauds. Friends, now we have data theft. So, the Information Technology Act actually defines what is data theft. It is also punishable under the Penal Code, which has now been replaced by the Bharatiya Nyaya Suraksha Sanhita. And the sensitive personal information is defined in this particular section. Now, what is sensitive personal information? Your name, your date of birth, your gender, your sexual orientation, your place of birth. These are all sensitive personal information. Companies have a liability to, you may have given this information to Airtel for obtaining a cell phone. You may have given this information to Aadhaar. All of these organizations have the responsibility to keep this sensitive personal information safe. There is the punishment is there if this information is leaked, and the punishment is there for the individual who misuses the information of any other person, and the punishment is also there for companies who fail to prevent the leakage of such information which is stored with them, the sensitive information. Because this is very important, because if this is stolen or lost, then Ram Singh can become Samar Singh, and Samar Singh can become Aishwarya Singh. So I can steal the identity of somebody else, which is very scary. Many times the identity is actually stolen, and we will discuss more about that after this slide. So friends, the internet based banking frauds are taking place not only in India but also all across the world, and normally these frauds, these kinds of crimes are being checked by the International Police Organization, Interpol. But Interpol requires cooperation from all the various member countries, and this can include the stolen passwords, the stolen travelers checks, the credit instruments, the stocks, bonds, etc. Somebody may give you misleading advertisement saying that, oh, you please put this much of money on the internet and this will happen. So let us not get taken in for that. There may be also tax evasion issues which are also coming within the purview of cyber crime. Friends, identity theft is a very important aspect. So when a personal information, and what is the personal information? When this personal information or any other kind of sensitive information is stolen to commit the criminal acts. So I go ahead, I am a cyber criminal, I acquire the identity of Ram Singh, and using Ram Singh's identity open a bank account, rent a house, and then commit an act of terrorism. So using this, I may commit various other frauds in the name of Ram Singh. So recently, friends, a case came to light wherein a very senior bureaucrat who was the head of the agriculture department in one of the states, he created the bank accounts for 12 lakh villagers, and these 12 lakh villagers, PAN cards were created in their names, bank accounts were created in their names, and ill-gotten money was deposited into these villagers' names, and these villagers had never even seen a few thousand rupees at one go, and their bank accounts contained several lakhs of money, which was ill-gotten gains of this particular senior officer. So this is a perfect example wherein the identity of the victim has been stolen, and this victim's identity is then used to create various fraudulent activities, and the thief has stolen enough information about the victim to assume their identity completely. Now these poor villagers had to explain to the tax authorities what was the source of income, how did they have several lakhs in their bank account. So later on it came to light that it was actually the ill-gotten gains of this particular officer. See, the criminal in this case has impersonated the victim, the criminal has stolen the identity, the criminal has stolen the money, the criminal has stolen the data, the criminal may steal other assets of the victim. And many people discover that they have been the victims of identity theft only when they go to apply for a loan, when they attempt to open a bank account, when they apply for a job, etc. Friends, it may have happened to some of you that when you go and vote in an election, the polling officer tells you, I am sorry, but your vote has already been cast. How has that happened? Because somebody has assumed your identity and gone and cast your vote. In such case, you cast a protest vote. So as per the election laws. So friends, that is also an example wherein somebody has stolen your identity, but in the cyber world, stealing the identity can acquire very serious dimensions. So friends, identity of a person is very important. Our name, whom we are, we may be working in some organization, that is actually very important because that forms the very facade of our existence. The very look of our whole personality depends on that. Ever since we have had the Aadhaar biometric in India, so now all of us have a particular number, the unique identification number, which is a 12-digit number given to us. So we are often asked to give our Aadhaar number. Friends, never give out the entire Aadhaar number. Always give out your Aadhaar number either as a virtual Aadhaar number, they give you a virtual Aadhaar number, or you give out your Aadhaar number in masked form. So when you download from the website of Unique Identity Authority and you say you want a masked Aadhaar, they will give you only the last 4 digits, the rest is cut out in the form of X. If you have the full Aadhaar and you want to give somebody, then what you do, and you are not able to generate a masked Aadhaar due to whatever reason, no access to technology or whatever, you please strike out the first 8 digits manually and in a proper manner so that nobody else can. So, your, let's say your Aadhaar is 123. Let us say this is your Aadhaar. So, if you ask for a masked Aadhaar, you will get it like this. This will not be visible. You will get it simply like this. This is what you will get as a masked Aadhaar, friends. You may get a completely different one as this, you may get as your virtual Aadhaar or VID. So, you can give this to people who are asking for your Aadhaar. You can give this masked Aadhaar, or you can create this manually so that it is not visible. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay, but this is not okay, friends. Your actual Aadhaar, this is not okay. Why is it not okay? Because you are giving the person the complete opportunity to steal your personal information. Once he has your Aadhaar, it becomes very easy for him or her to take your information and set up your own identity. Such frauds are common the world over. In the US, they have something called a social security number, and every time somebody has access to the social security number of another, they are in a position to assume the identity of that particular person. Friends, if I were to give my summary for today's discussion, there is so much of depiction of cyber crime in modern day films, OTT programs, serials. So, some of you may have heard of this OTT program called Jamtara. There is another a serial called Hack Crimes Online on Netflix, I think. Then Mr. Robot, Cyber Hell, these are certain examples. Friends, there are certain districts in India which have been classified as very high risk by the relevant authorities. Jamtara in Jharkhand happens to be one of them, but you have Nu in Haryana, you have Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, you have Bharatpur in Rajasthan, and these are some of the most significant districts in India where, due to majority of factors, cyber crime is very high, and people are starting in cyber crime in ages as low as 8 and 9 years old. So, the various forms of impersonation are adopted by the cyber criminals. Cyber criminals are often preying on the faith, on the belief of the victims. The cyber criminals are making money by cheating the banks, and because they are cheating the banks, the faith of the public in the banks, in the financial institutions may be shaken. There are so many loopholes which these people are exploiting. They are educated people, they are white collar criminals, so some of them may even enjoy some kind of a status in society. Friends, a very, very basic example. Nowadays, a lot of you may be using Paytm and UPI and Google Pay and such kind of systems. These systems have made our life very easy and simple. So, many times when you go, you simply ask the person to give them their mobile number and or you scan the QR code and transfer the money. Please, friends, pause. If you are asking the person the mobile number, if you are scanning the QR code, pause, see the name that comes, Ram Prasad, Suneri Lal, confirm with the person. You want to put the money in Ram Prasad's account, in Munshi Lal's account, in Suneri Ram's account, whatever the name may be. Otherwise, many a times what happens is your money will go to some cyber criminal, or it may happen that the money has gone by mistake to somebody else's account, and that person will come and tell you, look, I have not been paid. So if your luck is with you, it may just go to the wrong person, and if your luck is not with you, it will go to the wrong person and also create more problems for you. So pause, be very careful of QR code scams. Always confirm the identity of the person who is the recipient of the money that you are sending through UPI. So follow basic safeguards for digital banking, some of them which I have discussed with you. There are so many other advertisements in popular media. You will find the advertisements issued from time to time by RBI on safe banking. Please follow them, because banking frauds by cyber criminals have been increasing in India, not only in India, all over the world on a year-on-year basis. And if we have to make the system more transparent, more accurate, and at the same time we have to increase our convenience, we must ensure that the things are accurate. And after all, it is we who are responsible for our own safety and security. So friends, that completes this particular lecture of mine. In the next lecture, I am going to speak to you about how we can quell the cyber crime challenge. What are the various things that we can do to make the life of cyber criminals more difficult? Thank you very much, friends.